Yo guys, what's going on? I'm Tim. I've almost become a mainstay on the Blitz Hardcore podcast. Go to hoopsopedia.webs.com to donate to them so they can get a better live show. You can check this show out on Blog Talk Radio just about every night. They've been doing live shows, especially for the NBA playoffs and everything. Last night, myself, Bruce Blitz, Josef, and Shawn the Truth broke down a bunch of games, but the game we broke down the most was, or the series I should say, is the Heat and the Celtics. So here's your taste from the Blitz Hardcore podcast. You can get the full thing on iTunes. Heat vs. Celtics, our preview.
But let's move on to the Miami Heat and the Boston Celtics. Oh man, who isn't pumped up for this series? I mean, you kept seeing the stats that they were throwing up during the Spurs and during the Grizzlies game, where LeBron James' career average against the Boston Celtics is 30.6 points per game. Only Michael Jordan averaged more against the Celtics. So, I mean, you're in high company there, you know, and everybody's like, well, Paul Pierce always makes it tough on LeBron. LeBron actually almost always outplays Paul Pierce. And we know that Miami is 1-3 against the Celtics this year. A couple of those games were early in the season, and obviously Miami has improved. But Josef, I think this is a matchup nightmare for the Celtics, and you look at the fact that LeBron James averaged 28.8 points per game on 48% shooting, his customary 6.5 rebounds, 6.5 assists. He's played great against Boston this year. But then you flip over to Dwayne Wade, and everybody brace yourself for what Dwayne Wade's averaged against the Celtics this year. 12.8 points per game on 28.1% shooting. 12.8 points per game on 28.1% shooting. That means he's missed 72% of his shots, Josef, against the Celtics.
Yeah, I mean, that's, Bruce, while you were, off air there for a minute, I was touching on that, and I said basically, it's up to Dwayne Wade, because, LeBron has played well against them this year, and they've lost 3 and won 1 time. And even in the game they won, Dwayne Wade was 4 of 12. He's got to find a way to play better, or they don't have a chance, in my opinion, because when you get to this point, when you're playing the Celtics or the Bulls or, whoever you meet in the finals, LeBron and Wade both have to be playing well. If one of those guys isn't, I don't see him having a chance. Dwayne Wade has got to find a way to at least shoot 40%. My goodness. Come on.
All right, and let's get Tim back on here, because Tim, I believe Tim really... Yes, and I see Shawn on here. So, Tim, I know that you're real passionate about the Miami Heat. So, what do you think? When you hear from me, I don't think the Heat have much of a shot in this series when I look at the matchups. But I could be wrong. What do you think when you're looking at this series, when we're heading to it?
Yeah. When I look at this series, you're right. I mean, on paper, nothing looks right. The Celtics have 4 guys on offense that can legit score 20 points in a game, and the Heat have 2 defenders, and that's LeBron and Wade. Bosh can't defend at all. So I think on paper, the Heat are in trouble. But on paper, Dwayne Wade averaged 12 points per game. I don't see that happening. I see something in this series, and it's a gut feeling more than anything, working out for this Heat team, and I think the Celtics probably get up early in the series, but LeBron and Wade put this team on their back, and I see them winning this series in probably 7 games.
Wow, Tim stepping out on the ledge there. Let's get Shawn the Truth on. And Shawn, I know you're going to bring the fire and the passion.
The truth.
We were just talking about the way that Dwayne Wade has really underperformed against the Celtics this year. LeBron's played well, and amazingly, Chris Bosh actually played pretty darn good against the Celtics this year. With all that being said, buddy, look at the rest of the team. I don't see the Miami Heat pulling this one out, man.
Hey, when I look at it, guys, I mean, it's going to be a tough series. The thing is, what I'm hoping on, and that makes me sad the most, is first I'll bring up is the coaching staff. You don't see an offensive system. Joseph, the entertainer, brings this up to me all the time. He talks about the most dangerous play probably ever would be a Dwayne Wade and LeBron James pick and roll, and they do not run it enough. The thing I'm wondering here is, with Dwayne Wade, is are they going to give him time to switch off of Ray Allen on defense? Because it looks like he was not in shape coming into the season. That was well known. And with his play on the defensive end, say that again.
He had the injury, so you got to kind of cut him some slack.
Yes, definitely he had the injury, that's for sure. I will cut him some slack. But, in the past, I think Dwayne Wade has not been in the best of shape. Am I not right?
Well, yeah, it has appeared that way at times.
At times. I think Pat Riley pointed it out once or twice, but he has a situation too similar to Phil Jackson. But will they give him time to get off of Ray Allen on the defensive end and give him more energy on the offensive end? Now, what I've seen is Dwayne Wade, since the divorce and since the custody battle, has played much better defense. There's a mental edge in the game, too. The guy was not playing that great defense until that happened, so I'm going to bring that point up. Another thing is LeBron James going to unleash an aggressive LeBron James to the fact where I've seen this guy offensively take over teams, and it feels like throughout the media, LeBron's averaging the 12 points and Dwayne Wade's averaging the 30 points. Is it true? I mean, that's the way I look at it, but it's the one LeBron has been playing the most consistent. I think, personally, the role players, they have to spread the floor. They need to get James Jones. Mike Bibby definitely has to hit those shots. Similar to the game they had at the last regular season game against Boston Celtics.
Wait a second, though. Yeah, that's nice that Mike Bibby needs to hit those shots, but isn't having Mike Bibby on Rajon Rondo a recipe for disaster? Mike Bibby is not a good defender.
He's actually a really bad defender. So you're going to have Mario Chalmers out there who's been playing the ball, but you need to get another unit out there who can spread the court a little bit, because what you see a lot is a stagnant play on their end. Of course you can bring in Bibby and James Jones. Of course you're going to have a little bit bad defense at times, but then you have to bring in a little bit of offense. And spreading the floor is the most important thing for the Heat to do, just like most other teams, because why? You get to open up the lanes. Guess what? They have to keep you honest, Bibby and James Jones, at those times in the corners and up front on the perimeter, and that brings up more room for LeBron and Dwayne Wade to drive. I want to see a lot of driving. I want to see a lot of inside play, and I believe the Heat have a chance. But you know what, guys? Doc Rivers is a great coach. I mean, probably his inbounding plays, his plays that he runs is great. Rondo, motivated Rondo. If you don't cut the head off that snake, the rest of the team will not be able to play, but he's going to be playing well. I see it's going to be a very tough series on the Celtics, but after all, I'm going to put my balls on the table, and I'm going with the Miami Heat in 7 games. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it.
Oh, man, you're putting your reputation on the line there. I'm not going out on a limb when I say that I don't see the Miami Heat getting past Boston and then Chicago. I mean, how is Eric Spoelstra going to coach his way out of the corner and get to the finals when he's going to run into Doc Rivers and then Tom Thibodeau, Joseph?
Well, that's the key right here, because unfortunately for the Heat, when you get to this point in the playoffs, you're going to be playing a fair amount of close games, and we see what they do in close games, and that is look like a bunch of absolute morons on the court. Embarrassing to watch if you're a basketball fan.
And basically, bottom line, the thing that I have a problem with is the way Dwayne Wade has performed against the Celtics, because, let's face it, guys, he's going to be defending Ray Allen. Ray Allen's going to be running him all over the floor like a madman. And he's not going to have the same level of energy on offense as he does in other games. So I don't see Dwayne Wade having a great series. Okay? The Boston Celtics know how to scheme to take away the supporting cast. Yeah, LeBron's probably going to get his. Okay? LeBron's probably going to go off. You know, the Boston Celtics is a team that you need to out-muscle. So I definitely see LeBron having a good series, but I just don't I can't get past the fact that Eric Spoelstra, Joseph, is just not a very good coach, and you've got the matchup problems and you've got the coaching mismatch. So I don't see it happening, buddy.
Well, how in the world, this is random, but how in the world has LeBron James' last two coaches both been video coordinators to start their career? I mean, what are the chances?
Well, yeah, I've actually heard of a few coaches, more than just them, who started out as video coordinators. And you got to give them props. We're not trying to hate on these coaches who, they have jobs and everything. We're just stating the truth. The fact that Eric Spoelstra is not a great X's and O's coach. And it's as simple as that. He's just not. And he is going to flat out get out-coached against Doc Rivers. In my opinion, and I'll bring Shawn in next on this, in my opinion, Shawn, the only chance the Heat have is we've seen those games where the Heat's best three players, LeBron, Wade, Bosh, all combined for 75 to 85 points. But can they do that for 4 games? I don't think so.
See, okay, you make a great point, but at the same time, we're talking about an inept offense in the Boston Celtics. Now, if the Boston Celtics were a great or decent, even decent to above-average offensive team scoring up points, this team has many droughts. Are we forgetting that also the Miami Heat are one of the best defensive teams in the league? I know they have dropped the ball against a lot of these great teams, but you're talking about a different animal when we get into the playoffs. I don't know, Joseph or Tim, or you can attest to me. When we're talking about playoff basketball, we're talking about intensity rates. We know what we're going to get with the Boston Celtics. Point in case, very good defense, beautifully ran offensive plays, even though they had a lot of doubts. There's a difference between being a bad offensive team because you're coaching or players just not hitting shots. There's a huge difference. Another thing is we really don't know what we're going to get from the Miami Heat in this series. Now, I know you're going to disagree with me because of the coaching, but in reality, hasn't LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, and company been waiting for this series?
So go ahead, Tim.
Okay, first of all, you said something about the Celtics have been together for a few years. They know how to win big games. Well, the Celtics also won a championship in their first year together, so I disagree with that point. I mean,
wait a second. You got to give me a chance to rebut. Fair enough. But who was the coach? Who was the catalyst to that team performing the way they did? Do you have as much faith in Eric Spoelstra as Doc Rivers?
No, but you know who I do have as much in? Pat Riley. And he's been sitting on that bench the whole year not doing anything. And everyone thought at the beginning of the year Spoelstra was just a yes man. The second the Celtics go up 1-0 in that series, that's when Pat Riley is going to come in. He will become the coach. Spoelstra's an idiot. End of story. I mean, who else tells the media when players are crying in the locker room and allows his team to touch the NBA Finals trophy before they actually win it at the beginning of the playoffs? He's an idiot. But he will become Pat Riley's yes man in this playoffs. Pat Riley will become the coach of this team in all essence. I just don't see how he can continue to sit there and allow this team that was supposed to be so great not win a title or at least not get to the Eastern Conference Finals. This will be his series.
Okay, hold on now.
Okay.
Tim, I think you're making my point for me. You just totally destroyed Eric Spoelstra, and that's my point. And I think you're giving Pat Riley too much credence to what he can actually pull off from the stands. And I think that your argument is fantastic for the off season. But go ahead.
One other thing, Doc Rivers also before he got the big three. How good of a coach was Doc Rivers considered? I mean, I just think Doc Rivers is an overrated coach. I've always thought that.
Wow.
Disagree.
Come on now. He had a bunch of bums before the big three.
And he actually, I used to watch him with the Orlando Magic. His system was actually really amazing. He just had bums. And when you take a look at his system, what he runs, honestly, at this point a moment right now, I think his system, he's the best coach for his system that he's running right now. And that's not going on a limb. If you look at that system accordingly, the inbound passing, the way he's having Rondo integrated into that system, I think he's the best right now.
Yeah, and Tim, when you look at the supporting staff, his assistant coaches, and the tutelage that he was under, I mean, you look at a guy like Tom Thibodeau, and Tom Thibodeau, obviously a career assistant coach, who made a bunch of coaches look better than they were, and he also groomed a bunch of coaches. You look at Doc Rivers and the defensive system that he's still running there, nothing's changed. You look at the creativity, I think that his strongest suit is keeping his players focused on playing team ball, but also these plays he draws up at the end of the game, buddy. I mean, he draws up amazing plays. And to get back on the subject, I just don't think that Eric Spoelstra is going to be able to outcoach Doc Rivers maybe more than one game in this series. Now, he may be overrated in the sense that someone might look at it and say, wow, you know, he gets all this love, and he's only coached one championship team. I kind of get where you're going with from that, but Doc Rivers is a great coach, buddy.
Yeah, I see what you mean with that. And to the other thing, the LeBron has a lot to prove. I couldn't agree more with that, because if LeBron just lost to the Celtics last year, fine. But the treatment he got for that, he gave up in that game, everything. He's going to stick it not only to the national media, but to Cleveland if he can win this series. I mean, I don't know. Something is telling me that the Heat are going to win this series. I think on paper I could see the Celtics winning this series in 6 games, but something is telling me that the Heat are going to win this game in 7. This series in 7.
Well, I tell you what, I know Joseph wants to jump in, but listeners, 646-727-2058. That's 646-727-2058. Call in and tell us what you think about who's going to win this series. Go ahead, Joe.
Call in. Yeah, call in, debate us, bring it on. We are ready. All right, here's my thing. When we're talking about if LeBron James can pull off this series, he's going to get he's going to get credit for it and glorified. No, I disagree. I think this is still a lose-lose situation for LeBron. If they get over the hump and beat the Celtics, well, you know, he needed Dwayne Wade. If, they lose, I think he takes all the criticism. So I don't think this is a series that, could necessarily change LeBron's reputation. I know it's a little off subject, but I don't see that happening regardless.
No, but it might not happen to the media, but it will happen in LeBron James' mind. He will know that I did it to them.
Well, and here's the thing, Joseph. Yes, and I understand where you're coming from, and I do think, anybody who's rational would admit that LeBron James has got the short end of the stick this year. With the fans, with the media, he really has gotten the short end of the stick. With that being said,
with a lot of shit on that short end of the stick, it's been absolutely unfair. I mean, there's a great article Joseph had me read today. He had me today. Dude, whatever LeBron does is the wrong thing. Whatever everybody else does is the right thing. We have to make this point. That's why I say short end of the stick with a lot of shit on it.
Thanks for tuning in, guys. Remember to go check out the Blitz Hardcore podcast on Blog Talk Radio. Every night they host a live show at about 12 o'clock Central Time, or Eastern Time, 11 o'clock Central Time. They're really doing a great job over there. And it's something I believe in because it's what the national media fails to do. It's break down games without any bias. That's what it comes down to. So go make sure you check that out. I am Tim. I'll be on that show all summer. I'm going to be one of the main baseball correspondents. But right now I'm doing some NBA. I'm sure I'll be on for the NFL as well. Until then, I am Tim. I'll see you guys later.